What's up, tribe? We are back for another retro review. This is going to be Falcon Crest. See, we are still in season 1, episode 13. Episode 13. Now, this is a good one, you guys. This is a good one. This episode is called The Candidate. And so we start this episode off, we see this guy, you know, he's walking into like this building or whatever, like an office building. And he ends up walking into this guy's office and he calls his name. And the dude looks up at him. He's like, yeah, what you want? And he just straight up shoots him. Boom, dead. I was like, oh. And then the security guard comes running in there and he's like, freeze. And the guy looks at the security guard and he's like, here you go. And he just hands him the gun like, okay, take me to jail. So we see Lance coming in to tell his grandmother, and come to find out the guy's name that got shot was Ed McKay, and he was on the board of supervisors. Now the board of supervisors run the valley, right? And it seems like it must be like 7 of them. I guess it's an odd number. And Angela got 3 of them in her pocket, and then the other 3 are kind of independent. And well, the other 4, I guess, I don't know. Maybe it's 3 and 3. Anyway, neither here nor there. Ed McKay was one of the guys that was in Angela's pocket. So immediately Angela's like, oh, shit. Now I got to figure this out, right? The guy that shot him, his name was Phil Everhart. So at the frame, you know, Angela, she doing what she doing. She talking to one of her other little cronies. And she said, listen, have y'all figured out who y'all going to have run for Ed's seat? And the guy was like, well, we're not quite sure yet, you know. And she said, well, what about Mr., you know, whatever. I ain't write his name down, y'all. Whatever. And she said, Ed's assistant. He was like, nah, he's too green. He not ready yet. Angela was like, have him come see me. Because Angela's thing is, yeah, he's young and he's green, but I need somebody I can get in my back pocket who ain't going to really cost me no whole lot of money and a whole lot of, you know, cha-chang. And so the guy comes to see Angela, and he again tries to convince Angela, listen, I don't think this is the best guy to run for the seat. And Angela was like, listen, send him up here so I can talk to him because he's who I want. And the dude comes up, and Angela says, hey, you are my guy. I will be backing you. You are my choice for candidate. And of course, he's happy to hear it. You know, he was Ed's assistant. He know what it's about. He know what Angela Channing is. You know, he's no fool to it. Now, while all this is going on down in the valley, Emma and Julia, they're up in San Francisco shopping. Julia got on this bad mink jacket, baby. It is bad. You know, 1980s bad, but bad. Okay, and hell, I take it now. I said it like I wouldn't take it now. I take that coat down. Anyway, they're in this jewelry store, you know, looking around. You know how people do, especially when you have money and you come in these high-end jewelry stores, and you know. So the lady walked away from the counter, and when the lady walked away from the counter, she got called away. Emma gonna take one of the bracelets and put it in her pocket, and the store security saw her. Now, they had their store security was in plain clothes. You know, they didn't have them dressed up like, you know, security guards. So Emma probably ain't think there was no security around. And the guy ended up following them out the store. And, you know, Julia don't know what's going on. Because Emma was like, Julia, I'm ready to leave. Julia, I'm ready to leave. Julia ain't know what was up. She just thought Emma was being quirky, acting crazy, you know. And they get outside and security come up. And he was like, ma'am, I'm going to need to check your bag. And, you know, of course, Julia was about to get real indignant, talking about some, excuse me. Honey, Emma was opening up her purse. He was like, man, where's the bracelet? Emma gonna pull it out her pocket like, here you go, you caught me. And I'm sure in Emma's mind it was just a little game. But dude was like, I'm gonna need y'all to come back in here and talk into Mr. Carmack's office. Next thing you know, Julia is coming home, honey. They don't have to post bail for Emma because Mr. Carmack has a very strict policy of enforcing arresting shoplifters and prosecuting them to the fullest extent of the law. And Angela's gonna say, well, did you tell him who I was? Julia was like, yes, and he was unimpressed. I said, ooh. So now while this is going on, the other guys that are on the commission, they talk to Chase. And they talking to Chase about running for this office that's now open. And Chase was like, what? He was like, you know, I only been here like 8 months. Like, I can't be running for office. I don't even know what all this is. And the guy was like, listen, we need somebody that's independent, that's smart, that's da-da-da-da-da to go against Angela. So come to find out, let me tell y'all how Angela, well, Falcon Crest, because I think it started with her father, but Angela kept it going. They ended up buying up all the land where the natural water resources were. And then they dammed the water up so it wouldn't flow into the valley, so everybody didn't have access to the water. And then she's charging people to use the water. And for the people she liked and she cool with, they can have unlimited access to the water. For the people that she just doing business with, she sets the price point. And then for people that she want to put out of business, she don't let them get none of the water. I said, how did Angela become the damn water company? And that's what Chase said. Chase said, how did y'all even allow this to happen? And they explained that, you know, again, what I just said. And so Chase was like, okay, well, this is a lot. But they convinced Chase to run. Chase gonna come home and tell Maggie, and you know Maggie is just not here for it. Maggie was like, listen, you didn't move me from my nice brownstone townhouse in New York where I was a freelance, you know, writer making a little bit of change here and change there. But you was the big time airline pilot, probably making six figures back in the 1980s, making six-figure salary. And then you gonna move me here to this little valley to sell some wine. We don't know shit about no wine, but I was there with you. I stuck with you. I ain't even complain. You know, I did what I had to do. I was changing oils on the car. I was digging ditches. I was working 12-hour jobs. Now you want to run for county commissioner. Now you want to add something else to what I have to do. Honey, she wasn't here for it. The next day, she gets a call from her former boss, you know, Angela's husband. And he wants her to go and interview the guy, Phil Everhart, the guy that shot Ed McKay, and get his side of the story. So she goes to visit him. And he explains to her why he shot that dude. He said, listen, the county commissioners were supposed to have our backs. They were supposed to look out for us. But instead, they were in Angela's back pocket. Me and my wife moved out here from Minnesota. We sold everything. We bought this vineyard. I couldn't even get water. Angela starved me out of my vineyard and basically ended up taking it from me. My wife done left me. I don't have nothing. I'm broke. I can't see my kids. My wife done moved away. And I don't have nothing. Like, yeah. And it's all because of Angela. So, yeah, I shot him and I'm going to get Angela ass too. So, once Maggie heard that story, you know, Maggie went to Chase and was like, listen, I understand why you have to do this. Like, there's a whole lot going on. Like, Angela's on that bullshit. So Maggie is on board now. Chase is on board. What's that boy? Cole. Cole is on board. And Victoria was actually pleasant in this episode. She was actually like very helpful and a little bit happy about it. So, the campaign is coming along. You know, all the anti-Angela people are out supporting Chase. You know, all that good stuff. In the meantime, she done sent Lance to go talk to the jewelry store guy. And the jewelry store guy was like, listen, I could appreciate who your grandmother is, but that could have been the Queen of England coming up and through here, and I will be pressing charges against her too. So tell your grandma thank you, but no thank you. And, you know, I wish her well, you know. But I'm going to press charges. Like, that's a wrap. So Chase is actually doing a really good job, right? He's actually, you know, shaking hands and kissing babies, doing all the good stuff he's supposed to do for a campaign. And he's actually making some headway. Angela actually goes down there when she finds out Chase is running. She tells Lance, you know, the best way to be on the winning side is to be on both sides. So she actually goes down there to try to give Chase some money and stuff. And Chase was like, Angela, listen, I know I'll be playing nice with you, but please don't mistake my kindness for weakness. I see you for the snake that you are. I know the game that you're playing. I don't want your money because I know it comes with strings. And it's going to be what it's going to be. And she was like, I don't understand what your problem is. Like, the water is my water and, like, you're not going to change that. He said, Angela, that water belongs to everybody. Like, you should not have a monopoly on the damn water. She will tell him, you are such a dreamer. And roll out, right? So they end up having this debate, and Chase ends up debating the guy that Angela's backing, and he walks all over him, right? He dog walks him, like he does a great job with the debate. And when the debate is over, the father of Ed McKay, the guy that got shot, the commissioner that got shot, he comes up to Chase and tells him, he said, listen, of course Chase extends his condolences, and he was like, listen, I appreciate that. He said, but I'm more upset about how my son lived and how he died. He was a pawn for Angela Channing, and he started off with so much promise, and he just ended up being a disappointment. And he said, I really want to back somebody that's going to actually make a change. And he said, I need to know that if I give you my money, you're going to be good. And of course, Chase was like, hell yeah, give me the money. So he ends up giving Chase $100,000, which again, 1980s money campaign, small valley campaign. I'm sure that was more than enough money to help him do what he needed to do. Angela is seeing all of this, and she's no fool. So Angela ends up calling the editor-in-chief of the local newspaper, the little paper in the valley. And she ends up giving that guy her dossier on Chase Gerberti and family, because she had them checked out, but she kept it in her back pocket till she needed it. Well, she pulled it out, and they ended up posting it and putting it in that next day's paper. And of course, it was stuff like he couldn't get a loan, his vineyard is struggling, he don't even have his wine ain't even no damn good. But they put that information there about Cole getting arrested for beating up the teacher. Now, of course, don't nobody know why he really beat that teacher up. And at the end of the day, the charges got dropped. But McKay's dad came through there, and he was not happy at all. He was like, I asked you if you were the one. He was like, this article basically destroys you. And I don't know how you won't come back from this. And Chase was like, so he had to go and confront Angela, child. He had to go confront Angela. And Angela was like, all is fair in love and war, right? Now, before we get to that part, let me get you guys caught up to date on a few other things. So, Angela and Lance go back down to that damn jewelry store, because Angela was like, listen, Emma will not be going to court over my dead body. Emma is going to go to court. Y'all know what Angela did. Angela done her research, honey. Come to find out that the jewelry store done took out a loan, and they done took out a loan at a bank that Angela banks at. So Angela done talked them into calling in that damn loan. Got that man all frazzle-dazzle. She was like, listen, unless you drop these charges, you're going to have to come up with this balloon payment. And I know you ain't got that kind of money. And he was like, what? You can't do that. See, when Julia and Lance both told you, do you know who my grandmother is? You should have listened. You ain't listened. So Angela was about to call your loan in. So needless to say, them charges against Miss Julia got dropped. Okay, so that was going on. Then we had Phil Everhart, after him and Maggie had their little interview, and she was going to write the paper about his story. He ended up attempting suicide. Now, I don't know if he really tried to commit suicide or not, or if it was just a way for him to get into the hospital. Because remember, y'all, this is a small town, so it's not like they have this major police force and all of that. So he's in the hospital, and he ends up escaping out the hospital. And you know who he made a beeline for? You guessed it, Angela. He done called Angela and told her he was coming. So when Chase went to go confront Angela about the newspaper articles and her putting, all that stuff in the paper, because he was like, I know all that stuff came from you. Like, it ain't come from nobody but you. And of course, Angela was Angela. She was cold about it. She was like, whatever, all is fair in love and war. It is what it is. Ain't my fault that your son out here beating people up. And, he was like, yeah, but she was like, yeah, but the charges got dropped. Like, you acting like this is what was still going on, and it wasn't still even that kind of party. Now, let me say this as a side note. There was some really nice fashion going on in this episode. Angela wore a couple of real cute outfits in this episode. But anyway, so, again, even not even talking about just for 1980s. I'm talking about I could see somebody wearing that even today. Now, the other thing Angela did was she put Lance on top of making sure that none of their workers were over there helping out Chase. So Lanston took the foreman down to Chase headquarters, and every worker that they had leaving up out of there that worked for them, Chase was like, you can fire them, you can fire them, you can fire them. He was like, you getting the point? Anybody that's choosing to work for Chase Gilberte, that works for Falcon Crest, they can lose their job. So of course we know what that is. That's all types of voter suppression, child. So let me get back to the house. So Chase goes up to the house to confront Angela, and like I said, Angela is playing coy, like, listen, it is what it is. I don't know why you tripping. Whatever, your son the one out here, beating people up and shit. Like, you need to, get a better grip on your son. All of that stuff. Well, who come rolling up in the house? He had snuck in through Emma's room and was coming down the stairs. Phil Everhart with a knife, ready to kill Angela. And this part was so hilarious, y'all. Chase was going. You got Emma and Julia at the top of the stairs. You got Charlie and Chase at the bottom of the stairs. You got Lance. I don't even remember what the hell Lance was, but he was somewhere around. And he gonna tell all of them, I got it. Don't worry about it. And he ends up, it was a real dramatic. Chase was overacting the whole damn scene. Angela was overacting, like that knife to her throat. And, he was like, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. Angela, come on. Just come on down the steps, Angela. And every time Angela went to go take a step, he would pull her back tighter. It was real extra, y'all. It was real extra. But ultimately, y'all know that man he ain't do nothing to Angela. And Chase was able to, convince him to stop. I don't want to say stop talking because that's not what I mean. Was able to convince him to turn himself in or whatever. And Chase ended up going to the jail with him and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, it was just one of those scenes. It was a very 80s scene, okay? It was very extra. Anyway, but when it was all over, said and done, we casted our votes, and who won the election? Chase. So Chase is now on the board of supervisors, and Angela is not here for it at all. We're going to see how that affects how we move forward with that one, honey. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in those comments. Peace.